Can we live every day in the flow state? Let's find out.
I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Yesterday I got a question about can we live every day in the flow state, okay? A very interesting question because as we know, flow state is a very temporary state, right? It's not something that you maintain. However, I think with enough practice, we can sustain it longer than usual. It usually takes around 15 minutes to tap into flow state, and then around, let's say, 25 minutes, to maintain it in a sense. So 15 to 25 minutes to really get into it. And this can be seen from, research on things like Pomodoro, which is a method where, you have a 25-minute, 5-minute break, 25 minutes of working, and then a 5-minute break, right? So we understand that we can't stay in that pocket or that zone for super long, right? We're going to burn ourselves out because it does take a lot of intense focus. And if we have intense focus, to basically keep us in a state where we're dehydrating ourselves, and we need this alpha theta bridge to work for us, right? We need this pocket to lengthen and stretch according to our needs. In this video, I'll also give you a few Qigong exercises that you can do daily that will give you that enhanced feeling of flow, where at least you're getting rid of the anxiety and the tension, okay, from your body and your mind. And through these exercises, you can actually visualize that you're letting go of any fear and tension, because fear is really what blocks flow state for a lot of people. This is what I've noticed personally in my own journey. I used to have a lot of anxiety and things like this, but then I've overcome it through a lot of flow state training.
Alright, so the first Qigong exercise is called the horse stance. You basically put your palms together and then you bend your knees down. Feel it from your lower dantian, that's right below your lower abdomen, basically that area. Feel that energizing. Feel your mind and body connecting together as you put your palms together, and hold this for 30 seconds. Very good. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to raise our hands up, go onto our toes, and then go into our heels as we exhale and bring our hands down like that. So up and then down, up and then down. Imagine the anxiety and tension and stress just leaving through your fingers as you exhale it out, grounding yourself into the earth. Finally, the third one is a very simple one. You're just doing this with your hands, shaking your hands out. You can also bounce, keep your knees slightly bent and bounce on your feet a little bit as you do this. Similarly, you're visualizing all the stress, the fear, the tension just leaving your body through your fingers as you maintain this exercise. Finally, you just want to end with some tapping. You can tap with an open palm or a closed fist, whatever you prefer. Just give yourself that energy flow throughout the day. I love doing it for the lower back.
There's micro flow states and macro flow states, okay, and meso flow states, which is kind of in between. So the micro flow states are something like having a deep, meaningful conversation, maybe a short meditation session, maybe you're walking in nature, maybe you're watching a movie that's really captivating. All these things are very micro flow, right? So you might be living a day doing these activities, right? Right after you watch a movie, you go for a walk. Right after you go for a walk, you start stretching and doing yoga. Right after you do yoga, right? And you can maintain that ability for you to stay in the zone. The main thing that I've noticed to keep myself in the zone is to watch my breathing patterns, okay? Your heart rate variability. If it's way too slow or way too fast, you're out of the flow. But when you can maintain and come back to a rhythm where you're allowing yourself to get into a slightly trance-like state, where you feel that fluidity in your movements, in your actions, right? So There's micro flow and then there's macro flow. Macro flow is like a peak experience, right? You have an intense breathwork session, ayahuasca ceremony or something like this. You go to a new country and you discover a new culture. It's basically way out of your comfort zone, right? Something that is like a highlight reel of your life. You get married, you give an amazing speech, something like this, okay? Now, of course, we're not going to have incredible macro flows every single day. For a lot of people, they might have optimized their life where they can have more macro flows because they're creating so many micro flows, okay? So the goal here for you is to have as much micro flow throughout your day that you can, okay? Where you're letting go and releasing, the release phase of the flow cycle, okay? So as long as you're finding ways to let go, let's say you take a shower and you're using that shower as a meditation and you're visualizing that all the negative thoughts are going down the drain. That is you creating that shower practice. Or let's say you take a cold shower, right? Now you're adding another element of that in there because you're shocking your system and you're fighting against the internal resistance, okay? So you're using that shower practice to strengthen your flow state. You're drinking water with the intention that this is going to bring me positive energy. And as we know, our thoughts create things, our thoughts create outcomes, right? So as you drink that water, you're going to feel very differently as you set a positive intention on drinking that water. Let's say now you're doing your workout. What if you have the mentality that I'm not trying to win this competition, but I'm learning and becoming better? So one of the ways you can actually live in the zone is to live with intention, is to live with a clear goal in mind, to have a very clear objective on the tasks that you're doing each day and having them set in your calendar, like creating a flow block for your calendar, like from 2 to 3, I'll do this, from 3 to 4, I'll do this, and scheduling in the time so you can ride the wave of that day. When we give ourselves nothing to do and constraints, yeah, sure, we can't just, be in deep meditation all day, but that's not really the same thing as really tapping in and living a life full of flow, okay? So it's important for you to give yourself tasks each day where you're doing them with full focus. Now there's something called external focus. Maybe you're keeping your phone on airplane mode, maybe you're locking your door, maybe you're playing some classical music. There's no distractions in the way, there's no notifications or timers that set off. You are fully in the zone as you're doing that. Now there's an external focus, but there's also an internal focus that we have to focus on, right? What if the emotions that we have inside of ourselves is distracting us? We keep thinking of this one person, or we keep stressing out of something that's gonna come into the future, and we're not in the present moment, in the now, right? These are all gonna break us out of the zone and out of our flow state. So it's not only that you have to focus on the external distractions and removing them, you also have to focus on removing the internal distractions. Now, this comes with emotional clearing, energetic clearing, being able to actually understand your internal world. This is why we have introspective practices like journaling or meditation, or going inwards in this sense, right? Once we have a whole range of flow state tools, flow state practices, I have things around me that remind me that I can get into the flow using this, I can get into the flow using that, right? I recently got one of these little, I don't know what to call them. They're like little boxing balls that you have, and you like tie it on your head, and you can like punch it, and it's really, really difficult actually. It's more difficult than it looks to actually maintain that, because it bounces all over the place, and sometimes it does hit you in random parts. But I constantly invest in these flow state tools, okay? If you don't have like a flow state tool or a practice where you can do this in your free time, like a Rubik's Cube or a kendama or some kind of a skill tour, or I have a fidget spinner, I constantly collect these things like Pokemon, man. You know what I mean? And so when I see them lying around and I'm lazy or whatever you could say, in that state of I don't know what to do, I constantly keep myself in that momentum of doing these little relaxing, repetitive tasks that don't use a lot of energy, They use less energy, but they keep my mind captivated and focused. It's like, you know how they say, when you're working out, not to like sit down, otherwise you'll feel like, giving up and stopping in a sense. So what do? You kind of get up, you walk around, you drink some water, you do some stretching, you kind of bounce up and down, and that gives you that momentum to keep going. So that's what you want to be doing. If you're having a lot of naps and a lot of time where you're just replenishing your energy, that's okay. But again, you really want to maintain a solid flow where you're understanding that these breaks are actually restorative. They're replenishing to me so that I can maintain this awesome state throughout the day. So you're asking me, how do you feel and perform your best every single day? You're not going to do that every single day, right? There's some days some trauma happens, some accident happens, some random thing will come in the way, but it's how you respond to that. And once you know how to deal with surprise, with different circumstances that come in, different adversity that comes in, different tension and anxiety that comes in, and you have this skill set as a flow state shaman, as a Jedi, as a ninja, whatever classification, characterization you want to give yourself in this, right? You become that. You become the master of the flow because you're living a life by design, not by default. So yes, it is possible, again, if you have more resourcefulness and resources to be able to maintain a flow state life. It's going to be a lot more easier for you to do that. Like there's certain people that can afford to take a trip to the sauna and, be in nature. So again, live each day with spontaneity and be okay with spontaneity and change. That's one thing. A lot of people, they're afraid of change. They're like, oh, change? Nope, I'm okay with exactly this. I know exactly what to do here. But as a flow state Jedi, you're going to have to be able to weave and adapt and be able to merge different people's worlds with yours and, have different perspectives and be okay with all of it. Be okay with the chaos. The storm is happening. You are the eye at the center of that storm. Okay? This comes with a lot of mastery, a lot of practice. So you're not going to live an amazing day, like the best day ever, in just one day of practicing some flow state rituals. But if you keep doing those rituals, if you keep maintaining a consistency, if you understand what excites you, what encourages you, what motivates you, and you maintain a life around the fact that you can gain these altered states of consciousness by doing certain activities that you really enjoy, and you piece them together like a beautiful symphony that you've written throughout your day. I would actually recommend that you try this task out. We recommend this task in one of my programs called Writing Reality. And if you want more information on that, definitely get on that, because Writing Reality is going to transform your life in just 3 days. And there's a lot of past recordings, right? I think there's like 3 or 4 events that we've done so far. So definitely worth checking that out. But one of the activities that we recommend you do is write down your perfect day from start to finish. What happens when you wake up in the morning? What would you prefer to do? Right? What would you have happen? Who is around you? What is going on? How are you dealing with that day? From all the way the time you choose to wake up and the time you choose to go to sleep. What happens in between that time? What is the perfect day for you? By really knowing what your perfect day is, you will start to attract that subconsciously. Because now your mind will look for that perfect day through your experiences. You might have to make some changes in your lifestyle, right? Start creating more of a flow state lifestyle for yourself. Start getting rid of bad habits. Start, exercising. Start being the type of person that you prefer to be and not what society wants you to be, right? This is all a part of the flow state process in terms of you creating a flow state lifestyle so that you can have every day that you live in the zone, live in the flow. Of course, it is this temporary state, but it is my belief that we can extend that and really getting each day, feeling really good, having these peaks of our day, these peak moments, these peak experiences throughout our day, where we truly allow ourselves to feel the most alive and vibrant and in the best mental, emotional, feeling, spiritual state that we can be, where our mind and our body and our spirit are integrated and working together, highly functioning and totally optimized. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Boom.